Now, in today's video, you're going to be seeing a total different backdrop and also video coming from the video recording today. And then it's because we're testing out a product from Kandao. This is the Kandao Meeting Ultra. It's actually a all-in-one video conferencing solution that has spectacular capabilities. And not only is it going to be able to record one person like I see myself now, and I actually see myself on a 15-inch screen right in front of me, but it could support a room full of people. And each person intelligently are going to show up on the screen and have, let's call it, their own stage time. Let's go to check it out. Now, the Kandao Meeting Ultra is going to support all of your virtual meeting needs. And I'm saying like all of them. Check this out. This product will support Zoom. It will support Google Meet. It will support GoToMeeting, Skype, BlueJeans, DingTalk, Slack, Polycom, Starleaf, Cisco WebEx, and several more. Because it has an onboard operating system that's going to allow it to literally, without a PC, without a phone, run the meeting. All you need is an internet connection, and you could use even your Wi-Fi to basically connect to it, or a hotspot on your phone to take this if you want this to be in a virtual meeting place. Like many startups nowadays may not have an office location, and they may rent a room. Imagine renting a room, still having to do a pitch, and wanting to have a professional-grade video experience. This solution is going to do it for you. With the mic and the noise canceling quality, as well as the screens, you'll be able to have a virtual meeting regardless of the platform that it's on. But if you do have, let's say, for example, a laptop or another device that you want to connect to the actual meeting solution, you can via USB cable and use it as your device to control a lot of the activities that are taking place. Before we go into more of the specs, I want to show you some of the key features of this product. And you're going to see me getting up and making some noise, and we're in our formal living room. The cool thing about this product is that as I walk around, the camera is going to be following because it has a 360 camera that as I'm walking is maintaining its connection, or at least I'm going to stay in frame as I'm having my presentation or my pitch. This is the power of the solution. Now, if there were other people here, let's say there were 3 or 4 speakers, and we're going to have Nelda join us in a couple seconds, she'll have a space to play as well in this presentation, and she will show up. But you can see, as I'm moving around, it's keeping me in frame rather well. And I could walk around my table, and it's going to continue to keep me in frame and actually record the session, which, by the way, I failed to mention, we are recording this onto the device. So we're not streaming this to Zoom or Teams or Slack or BlueJeans or any of the solutions we're talking about. We're actually recording it to a specific, I would say, micro SD that's on the device. So this is running like an Android operating system, and it's keeping all of this content that we see right here. Now, I'm using one of the many meeting modes, or one of the many camera modes that it has, which is really focused on the speaker. So what we're going to do is, as we continue to go through the specs, I'm going to have Nilda join us so that you can see how it handles 2 people. Now, one of the standout features of this meeting solution is that it has 2 15.6 LED displays. And these basically are touch screens. And as I mentioned, the core operating system for the solution is Android. You're looking at a 1920 by 1080 60 hertz screen. Now, in addition to this, what you see is that you have a camera with a resolution and frame rate of 3840 by 2160, 30 frames per second, 1920 by 1080p, 30 frames per second, 1280 by 720 by 30 frames per second. So these are all the different type of modes that you can run the solution in. And basically, it's encoding in MJPEG H.264. Now, we talked about the mics. And the mics, you can hear the kind of audio, and we're in a very, I have high ceilings, so there is going to be a lot of echo. And we also have our dogs, and we're trying to keep this not as quiet as you'd want, and let's say in the conference room, but trying to give you a sense of what the audio would be like, how much noise canceling is taking place, despite the fact that we have our little ones running around. So from a mic perspective, you have 8 omnidirectional beamforming mics. And you're going to notice that Nilda is actually sitting to the left of me, and she is in frame. She wasn't there a couple seconds ago, but you can notice how it kind of is switching things and showing her in. And even though she's not speaking, the system, as soon as she came in and sat down, it focused on her immediately because it knew she was present. So what we're going to do is just stop for a second and ask Nilda just to say hi.
Hi, guys. Nice to be back on the channel. Apologize for my hair.
Apologize for that. It's okay. But and notice you're apologizing for your hair, and it actually shifted directly toward you. So
It didn't zoom on me. I'm like, oh, okay, that was kind of cruel, but okay.
then it's doing it now. So this is what we're talking about. So notice how the camera shifts from speaker to speaker, and it actually focuses on highlights in the speaker. And that does it all by itself. So if you had 8 people in this room, or if this table was full of people, as each person is speaking, the camera, the software is going to shift to the person that is speaking. That's where the power of the solution comes out. So you saw when we went over, there's a lot of ports. There's either manual connection via Wi-Fi. There's Wi-Fi connection or manual connection via Ethernet. You have USB-A ports, HDMI ports. You have storage. One of the things I want to highlight, you have 64 gigs of storage on board that you can use for storing. Micro SD that supports FAT32 up to 1 terabyte. I think I have a 64 gig card on now, and that's what's recording. And you notice that Migo just joined us too, so he's on camera, and we'll see how that works out. Now, I've used this camera. Know that I have been testing this camera for quite some time in our home, and just checking out all the features. And we've checked it out with WebEx, Zoom, I think was the last one that you participated in. I looked at Teams as well, because it does support Microsoft Teams. And for the most part, the viewing experience has been absolutely phenomenal. The performance has been great. But what we find is it has a couple of camera modes. One of them is the 360 mode, where you're able to see the entire room, almost like in a gallery view. We didn't feel like that was... Yeah, remember the panoramic mode? What do you think about that view? You had an opinion, or you...
I was too crazy about it. I think I guess if you do have a lot of people, I can see you being able to benefit from it. But since it was just the 3 of us, because even Nicholas was with us, I prefer the side-by-side versus the panoramic.
Yeah, the panoramic was kind of distracting.
It was.
Right? So the panoramic view is going to give you the individuals that are going to be in there. So if you had 8 people, it'd be 8 people. But then it's going to show you the entire location.
Exactly.
So basically, it was showing almost like a film strip of our both on the channel. And it was like, why? It was wasting space. And this we really liked, because it more focuses on the individual who was speaking.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. And there was something. You remember? And there goes one of our dogs barking. There was also another area that we thought that it didn't really do well, and it was on the blur. Do you remember what was happening with when we blurred the background?
It was literally blurring. We couldn't see. We can see the other individual, but we couldn't see ourselves on the camera. So once you remove that blur, then we popped up. So I thought that was really weird. I'm not sure what was the reason for that happening, but the other person can see us. We couldn't see ourselves on the camera.
Yeah. So what Nilda's referring to, those of you who use video conferencing a lot, you know how you can actually replace your background, which you could with this. And you could also then blur out your background, which you can as well. And that's going to basically eliminate what you see behind us. So you wouldn't see like our 3rd floor on the top or the stuff behind us. By doing that, what we noticed is that video quality was not there.
Yeah.
We also noticed that we weren't there because it was trying to blur us out. And I think it has something to do with like the 360 camera going, and it didn't really play well. So having that blurred background effect, not good. It's not going to work with us. And for the most part, I think that this is really designed to be used as you see it here, really showing the location that you're in and then the speaker that is speaking. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get up again, because I just want to show you what the effect is of, we'll keep Nilda here. She's going to stay sitting down with me, and I'm going to walk around so you can see what the camera will do. And as I'm speaking, you'll notice how it's shifting with me. And I'm just going to continue to look at the camera, and I'm going to walk around, and you're going to see you'll see where Nilda is, right? So there she is. And I'm going to continue to walk and talk. And then this is, again, the power of this solution. And it kind of has now like 4 frames, because I think we may have confused it a little bit, because it ran into Nilda as I was walking in around the table. And I'm going to continue to walk this way. You're going to see it's going to continue to follow me as I'm speaking. Now, Nilda, why don't you go ahead and start talking anything random today? Oh, you know what? You can talk about our podcast.
Oh, yes. I hope you guys are able to join us every Sunday at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, where we talk about tech news. We go over products that we review during the week, and we like to interact with our guests that are joining us on our live podcast.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And this month, this video is being recorded in the month of July.
Which is the month of?
Samsung month.
Yeah.
What else is going on this month?
We just got over Amazon Prime.
We had Amazon Prime going. We have Samsung month. So we're going to be talking about a lot of products. We're going to talk about the Galaxy Fold, and we're going to be talking about the Galaxy Flip, the new ones that are coming out. And you can see just in this interaction how Nilda and I are going back and forth, and you can see the interaction of the actual. I don't know how that. I think it's more voice things. It's not motion. Basically, if you move your hand, also quite move your hands a little bit.
No, this is not.
No, it's going to be voice activated. There are some cameras that will shift based on motion. Others are on voice. So why don't you go ahead and try speaking?
I am speaking to you now, but it doesn't. Oh, see. Oh, look. It takes a while to pick up right away. Yeah. Not. I mean, it's just like a couple seconds, but it does pick up.
Yeah. So it moved pretty fast. So
I just don't like that it zooms on me.
It zooms on everybody. So it's like if it was a better hair day, I would say I love it zooming. You can see that I have a horrible hair day.
I promise you in Sunday's podcast, my hair will look better.
Her hair will look better for sure. So guys, this is the video quality that you get from the camera. We're going to take a look at the operating system, and we'll switch through some of the settings so you can see why this is a pretty cool product. This is definitely, if you're looking to step up your video quality, you want to have that presence, especially if you're running a small business, if you're running let's say a startup. This is definitely going to be a cool solution because it's incredibly portable. You can take this out, put it in a box when you're done with it, and leverage it to create these type of experiences. And it's just going to take again your pitch to the next level. Now the Kandao Meeting Ultra is packed with connectivity. First of all, you have right here 2 USB ports that could be used for mouse and keyboard. You have a USB-C connector, and then you also have a micro SD card that could be used for storing video content. On this side, you have a HDMI in, 2 HDMI out, Ethernet, your power, and then what you have here is another USB. At the very top of the unit, you're going to find a mic mute button. You'll have a plus and minus. You'll also have a series of mics. You can see all the mics, the pinhole mics here at the very top. You have the camera, which is going to be taking, again, that 360 view. And on the opposite side, you have a power button. Now, you have a series of controls at the very top of the unit as well. So you have a mute button. You have a volume rocker here. You also have a series of mics. You can see the array of mics here at the very top. You have the camera. And on the opposite side, you have a couple more controls. Now, on this side, you have your power button and your view button. So guys, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the software and some of the configuration options. It's going to be a little bit weird because you're going to see me here. I'm actually having a camera over there. So a couple things going on. We're going to go ahead and tap on the camera mode. You have the ability to turn on lock and zoom. And what lock and zoom is going to do is it's going to allow you to pick a quadrant on the screen and then highlight a specific individual and lock it in place. So the shifting that you saw between Nilda and I is not going to take place. You have 360 panoramic that you can turn on, and I mentioned that it's cool, but I really wasn't crazy about it. I like the 360 feature that it follows me. And if I was presenting on a whiteboard, or if I was walking around as I'm giving my pitch, or we have other people that are speaking in different parts of the conference room, I think that that's pretty cool. We basically then have, over here, you have your different video format options. So you have HDR, video inversion, you have video mirroring, resolution of 4K or 1080p, tracking sensitivity, high or low, mic noise reduction with, again, a percentage or a scale that you can actually input from. So the other thing that we have here is obviously you can take pictures, you can start the recording, and I'm going to get out of this for a second. And again, this is an Android operating system, and there are a lot of capabilities here that I'm really excited about. First of all, you saw we were in the camera tool option. You also then have WebEx, you have Zoom, and you have all of these. And it actually is downloading and maintaining the apps updated because it has Android built in. So for example, if I wanted to use Zoom, all I do is I tap the Zoom button, and I'm going to be greeted with a standard Zoom screen. So this is working just like Zoom. If I swipe up, I can just swipe it away because it's Android, right? And what I'm going to do is, let me go ahead and get out of this for a second. So we're going to clear all. Now I'm back. You can notice all the different apps. So this is going to use the same apps that you have on an Android tablet or on an Android phone. So that's pretty cool. Now, the other thing that you could do here is that you can look at your download center. So these are the apps that you can download that have been pre-selected. There's a user guide that tells you everything about the solution and how to use it. You then also can go into settings. And in the settings area, you basically can look at your storage, your network, Bluetooth, screen mirroring, language settings, keyboard, time zone. And then you could also look at system update and a lot of other features that are going to show you kind of like the Android operating system that's hidden behind it. Now, before we wrap up this video, one other thing I wanted to highlight that I thought was super cool about this as well is that if you have a power over Ethernet solution, and let's say you set this up as a fixed device in a conference room, that is also supported on this product. And I thought that's pretty spectacular. Right now, it's powered through a USB-C cable that goes into a power adapter and would plug into your wall. But having the ability to do that, I think, is something that I have not seen before. For those of you who are curious on the Wi-Fi, first of all, you support 2.4 and 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. It is Bluetooth 5.0. It does have the Kingston security lock, which is also really good. And you're looking at HDMI 2.0 in, so that's also really good. And then also then HDMI out of 2.1. So for those of you curious about those settings, I just wanted to make sure that we shared those things. The speakers themselves are 10-watt speakers too. So that great solution for a meeting solution like this. Want to thank Kandao for sending us the product to check out, and make sure you check out our other videos. See you in the next one.